Hey everyone, welcome back to our APIGURU channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm Damien Thorne here. On this channel we share everything you need to know about APIs. Today we will explore JWT-based authentication with Apigee. Let's get started. A JSON Web Token or JWT is a JSON-based access token. The JWT is used to assert claims that the recipient can trust. JWTs are digitally signed. This means that the JWT creator uses encryption to create a signature. By decrypting the digital signature, the recipient of the JWT can verify that the token service signed the token and that the token has not been modified since it was created. JWT tokens can therefore be verified by a service without requiring a network hop. This is in contrast to an opaque auth token, which cannot be verified without sending it to a token service since it does not contain an encoded value. This makes JWTs very useful for microservices, where there might be several microservices for a single API call, and it would cause significant latency for each microservice to make a separate network call to verify the token. The flip side to this design is that JWTs typically cannot be revoked. Opaque auth tokens require validation by a token service for each call. The service can invalidate the token so that it is not usable in the future. JWT tokens are validated by the service locally, so creating a revocation list for each service is generally not practical. This leads to best practice for JWTs. Keep the time to live short since the JWT will be valid as long as it lives. The JWT format includes 3 sections. These sections are separately encoded by base 64 URLs and separated by dots. The third section is the signature, calculated by encoding and cryptographically signing the header and payload. The first section is the header, a JSON structure with claims about the token. The header primarily specifies the algorithm used to generate the signature. In this case, the algorithm is HMAC-SHA-256. The second section is the payload, which contains claims about the user. There are some predefined claim names for standard types of claims. In this example, the standard claims are a subject, an issuer, an audience, an issued time, and an expiration time. Custom claims can also be created. We have the user's name, locale, and email address here. The signature guarantees the integrity of the token. The header shows HMAC-SHA-256 as the hashing function so that the signature will be a hash of the base 64 URL encoded header and payload separated by a dot. The token shown is the base 64 URL encoded sections, concatenated and separated by periods. Note that this token is not encrypted. The first 2 sections are base 64 URLs encoded and easily reversed to reveal the JSON. The JWT will be encrypted while traveling across the network because JWTs should always be sent via TLS. Like an opaque auth token, a JWT should be stored securely. Apigee has policies that help generate, decode, and verify JWTs. The Generate JWT Token policy creates a signed JWT with a configured set of claims and stores the JWT string in an output variable. JWTs can be generated with key encryption algorithms supported by the OpenSSL library. The Verifying JWT policy verifies the validity of a signed JWT. If the signature is invalid, the JWT has expired, or the claims provided in the policy don't match the claims in the token, the policy will raise a fault. If the JWT is valid, all the information will be populated into variables for use in the proxy. The Decode JWT policy decodes the signed JWT without validating the signature, expiration, or any claims. This policy will extract the values in the JWT into variables. The Decode JWT policy is generally used only when the information from the JWT is required to verify the signature. For example, if you allow multiple signing algorithms, decode JWT might be used to determine the algorithm, and then verified JWT would be used to ensure the token is valid. Apigee also provides policies for handling a JSON Web Signature or JWS. JWS doesn't require the payload to be formatted or attached to it. A signed JWT is just a JWS with a JSON payload containing a set of claims. There are 3 policies for JSON Web Signatures that are like the 3 JWT policies. Now let's talk about federated identity. Management of users involves managing user profile information like names and passwords. An identity provider or IDP manages and secures the user information stored in its database and authenticates those users. A service provider needs to manage its service users. Securing passwords and user data is of utmost importance. Many service providers choose not to manage user data but instead delegate the management to one or more trusted identity providers or IDPs. For example, many apps and services allow you to use your Google account to log in. The service provider can store the user's name and email but relies on Google to maintain the security of the rest of the profile information. Users benefit as well. Users have fewer accounts and passwords to manage. Users can also benefit from single sign-on. Logging into their user account can give them access to these apps and services without requiring another login. Let's learn about the most popular standards for providing federated identity, SAML and OpenID Connect. SAML stands for Security Assertion Markup Language. SAML 2.0, the current version in use, was finalized in 2005. It is a SOAP and XML-based protocol that uses XML formatted tokens, known as security assertions, to exchange authentication and authorization information between IDPs and service providers. SAML is a fairly complex protocol that enterprises typically use. Many large enterprises still use SAML. Apigee provides two SAML policies you can use in your proxies. Generate SAML assertion creates a security assertion, and validate SAML assertion validates it and sets variables containing the information in the assertion. OpenID Connect or OIDC is a lightweight, RESTful redesign of SAML. The OIDC layer's identity and authentication are on top of the OAuth 2.0 authorization framework. OIDC adds an ID token to OAuth. An OpenID provider can create an ID token when a user authenticates it. The ID token will contain claims about the user and their authentication and is a secure JWT token. An ID token can then verify the bearer's identity and obtain user details without contacting the IDP that issued the token. OIDC is typically preferred over SAML for mobile applications or systems already using OAuth 2.0. Apigee's OAuth v2 and JWT policies can create OIDC providers and consumers. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Please give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, and let me know what you think or if you have any questions in the comments. Look out for our next video in which we will explore how to secure APIs with Apigee.